Did you see the end of the 2012 Olympics? That ceremony at the end, that wonderful spectacle, brought an end to 2 solid weeks of athletes pitting themselves against the best in their fields from all over the world. Each and every single one of them receive honor and glory from those countries from where they came. Each of them participated in something that will resound with them for the rest of their lives. Many of them look forward and hope to be included in the teams that will be going to the next Olympics in 4-year time. All of these things have occurred. All of these things are happened. Yet Paul reminds us in 1 Corinthians that we are to prepare ourselves like an Olympic athlete, like a runner preparing for a race. We're to prepare our bodies and to make ourselves right with God. Get ourselves in the right frame of mind, to make ourselves correct for all that we need to do in order to run the perfect race, the race of life, in tandem with our Lord Jesus Christ. You see, we're not running a race by ourselves, but we run a race with Christ at all times. But our reward is not to be first. Our reward is to finish. We have to finish the race. All who finish the race receive the reward. All who complete the race, all who do the full journey, who make it to the finishing line, receive their prize. But their prize is not given before anyone else. Paul again tells us in Thessalonians that we who are alive at the return of Jesus Christ are not to have preeminence over the dead. What does he mean by that? Well, it simply meant that those who are dead and have passed on before us, who have completed their race of life, those who have walked the path before us, who have met the trials and tribulations that have come up within their Christian lives, they have completed their course. They rest now until the resurrection. And at that resurrection, God will call. The sound of the trumpet will blow, and God will call with a loud voice, and that dead, those dead in Christ, shall rise first. Notice they're not already risen. Notice they're not somewhere else. They are waiting to be called. Therefore, Paul is telling us concerning the dead, we do not need to worry about them. They are going to get the call just prior to us, because at his coming, he will call and they will come out of their graves. But he then says, and this is the wonderful thing, I tell you a mystery, I tell you a great thing. We shall not all see death, but we shall all change. For there are those of us who are going to still be alive at the second coming of Jesus Christ. Some of you, maybe listening to this video cast, will be alive at that time. Your walk with Christ will continue and be still going strong. And then you'll hear that trumpet. You'll hear that voice. And suddenly you'll be aware that you're changed in the twinkling of an eye, and you will see that the dead are ahead of you. Just a few moments ahead of you. They have had the opportunity to see that life before you were changed. So quick, it's so quick, but you didn't notice it. Then all of us, together, the full bride of Christ, from the time of the apostles, from the time of the prophets, right back to righteous Abel, to that very last person who was called, will all meet together as one body to meet Christ in the air. It's a wonderful picture. And when I look at the Olympics and I remember Paul's continual reminding ourselves that we are in a race, that we are participating in the games to a degree for our Christian fight. We are not shadow boxing. We're fighting on Poland, who stands against us, whose opportunity and desire is to stop us winning. He wants us to stop walking in union with Christ. He wants us to be separate from Christ. Our enemy, the adversary, means an opponent. Satan is our opponent. He is the one who we fight against on a day-to-day basis. You might think that the troubles and difficulties you're experiencing in your Christian life is coming from your friends, your neighbors, your family, your workplace, people who just don't understand. But that's not true. Our enemy is a spiritual force, power, principalities in the heavenly places, in the spirits of the air. They are our resistors. They stand in opposition to us. They want us to fail. Because we have been called, all of us, every single Christian on this planet, for all time, no matter when it was, whether it was 2,000 years ago, or back when righteous Abel, at the very, very beginning, the son of Adam and Eve. Right back then. Every single Christian, anyone who wants to reflect the fullness of God in their life in obedience to what they've been told, that we've been made in the likeness of God, will be resisted by this enemy, by this force. If you don't have resistance in your life, if you don't have someone fighting against you, trying to beat you down at every opportunity, then you've got to ask yourself, how can you learn to grow and mature as a spiritual Christian if there is not an opponent working with you? God allows it simply because you need to be able to have a resistance, to build you up, to give you something to strive against. Therefore we strive against principalities and powers. Paul again reminds us of that again within his teachings. So why do we keep referring to these things? Why do we remember these things? Because as this Olympics ends, in 4 years' time another one is going to happen. But many of the athletes who took part in these games won't make it to the next one. They will fall along the way. Their fitness levels will let them down. They will not be selected to be part of the Olympic teams that are going out from different countries. You will never see them again. Or maybe you'll not see them for a long, long time. And so it is with Christians. Many, many Christians fall along the way. Many simply get overtaken by the events in this world, by the strings and problems and difficulties that hold them back. You know, we say strings. What do we mean by that? Well, literally, there are times when Satan ties you up. He ties you up and he places you in a position where you can't do nothing. He places you in a situation where you're unable to express your faith. It's not physical strings. Try work. Often you find, well, I'm not 100% sure I should be in my job. I'm not 100% sure that I shouldn't be out there working for God in some other level. But I've got a mortgage. I've got a family. I've got needs. These are the strings used by this world to keep you under control. How do you get rid of them? Well, you can't. Many of these things merely hold you back. They are like putting strings on your arms, but they're not attached. They don't stop you moving. You can still move. You can shadowbox with Satan. You can do what's necessary. You can run. Even though there is ones holding you back, you can still progress. And as you progress, you build stronger. You find that those strings will slowly fall away as they're not becoming a problem. Other means are supplied for you to deal with these things. And it's something we have to understand. Now, I'm not telling you that you have to give up your job or leave your family. That's nothing at all what God means. In fact, it's true family. It's true commitments to work. It's true all those things that you are built in your Christian faith. But you mustn't allow them to become center stage. They are merely side issues. Your center stage, your race, your event is this run in unison with Jesus Christ. And that's where you need to be. Running with him, alongside him, stride for stride as you go through life. And that's what I pray that you're able to do. I pray that as Christ runs alongside you, that you begin to realize that he is there to support and to help you. In the Bible, we're often told that God does not yoke together two animals that are unequal. And the example is given of the ox and the donkey. Now we know that you don't put an ox and a donkey together for the simple reason the ox has great strength, great ability, and the donkey, while a strong animal, doesn't equal the ox. So the ox could go and work hard, and because if it was on the same yoke, pulling a cart or doing something, it could go on much longer than the donkey. And because the donkey stuck to it, it would end up having to keep going, until finally the donkey would die. So don't think it's like that. You are not yoked in that sense with Christ. He is running beside you, so that when you stumble, he will put forth his hand and help you up. He will steady you so that you don't fall. He is the one who encourages you, who says to you, listen, it's only another few miles. We can do this. We can get this done together. He encourages you. He helps you. He directs you. He gives you the strength and the energy. Therefore, you've got to keep focusing on him. This is a race that he's already run. He has completed it. He knows how it works. He understands the pressures, the problems, the difficulties that you are up against as an individual. He understands all of those things. And his desire, his overwhelming desire, is for you to win, to get to the finishing line, to be part of that victor's parade, to be part of that final celebration. The Olympics had a final celebration. It started with a fanfare. And our race all started with a fanfare too. When you first became saved, when you first became to know God, you were filled with excitement, with anticipation. You couldn't wait to get started. And at the very end, as the rewards are given out, as everyone is celebrating the completion of the games, there was a great party. There was a great fanfare. There was a great celebration. And again, we are looking forward to that celebration at the end of our race. Not the individual race, but the race of all the bride. From righteous Abel to that last individual who will be turned and changed into the incorruption, to the immortality of Christ. Friends, this has been William of Exploding Word Ministries. We're just using this as a Let's Talk video. And we want you to remember, our hope is that you can be encouraged, that your walk and your time with Christ will be filled with the joy that he promises to give to each and every one of you. God bless.